Hello, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Jess.
She's the traumatized.
And she's the abandoned.
And welcome
to our podcast,
where we talk about true crime, spooky things, and everything in between.
And today, we are talking about some abandoned places. Let's go.
Let's go.
How was your research?
It was great.
Proud of you. I'm excited
Really
to see.
glad I got the topic right.
Yeah. Oh my god, imagine. That'd be like, oh, just kidding. We're doing half and half. It'd be really funny. Oh, well, I guess I'm going to find out what you're doing in a little bit. How was your week?
It was good. Nothing happened, really. I don't think.
Good.
Beanie's doing better in school.
Good.
For some reason, they changed the system, which is driving me crazy. But instead of getting like color-coded check marks, he's getting stars, hearts, and smiley faces. I have no idea what any of them mean. So now I'm just, I don't know. It's chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos.
What's a good in that? Like, I mean, what means it's good?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
You know, they start out at green at the beginning of the day.
Mhm.
And then they go to blue, which is like they did great.
Right.
And it's purple, they did amazing. And then it's pink, they get a sticker.
Okay.
But now, what does star mean? What does smiley face mean? What does heart mean? Like, what do they mean now? Why have we changed?
I mean, is the heart a pink heart? Like,
no, they're all one color. They're all red.
Oh, that's great.
Which is a brand new color. So I don't know.
I feel like the teacher should have sent you guys home with like hey, this is what this means. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
anyways, he's doing a lot better in school. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Closing in, moving and stuff.
Oh my god, yeah.
Let's start packing.
That's fun. With
Yeah.
a kindergartner and a baby.
Yeah.
Cool.
How was your week?
It was okay. It was
Skip.
Stressful. No, it was okay. I had a meltdown yesterday, but you know what? Those happen. And it was a pretty reasonable one.
Yeah.
I think this week I am working on giving myself grace because I feel like that's something that, you know, I'm really hard on myself, especially in regards to my mental health. So I'm just trying to give myself additional grace this week, really focusing on the positive things and the things I can control. And that's what we're doing.
Yep.
But this weekend I am opposite of you. I'm excited. It's gonna be very busy, but it's family and friends and all good things.
You know, you haven't been around your family enough.
Girl, I tell you, I am making up for the last 10 years. I'm like, we are joined at the hip and I love it. It's just a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Be grateful because I wish.
I know. I sound like a fucking asshole right now. I have too many friends and family. Such a bitch. I'm sorry. Hey, you can borrow one whenever you want.
I can just borrow your brothers whenever I want.
You can adopt them. They could be your little brothers too, but I will let you know it comes with some stress and some anxiety along with them. Because I've
been living through it the past.
Yes. Family's the best, and I'm so grateful I'm actually having a relationship with them because I really haven't. Now that we're all adults, it's cool to have a relationship with them.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you ready for the fun fact of the day?
Yes. Fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day. Did you know, this is terrifying, buckle up.
Okay.
Chainsaws were first invented for childbirth.
Oh, yes. Yep. I knew
What?
that. Yep.
It was developed in Scotland in the late 18th century to help aid and speed up the process of I don't know how to say it.
C-sections.
Yeah, basically like the widening of the pubic cartilage and then the removal of disease-laden bone during childbirth. It wasn't until the start of the 20th century that we started using the chainsaws for wood chopping. Imagine you're giving birth and somebody like revs up a chainsaw.
It's like a handheld one though.
Still,
like imagine like an egg beater, like the handheld egg beaters, like that, but a mini chainsaw.
No, I don't want to imagine that. No, thank you.
Well,
no,
yeah.
ma'am. We're not.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Also, there's this great show on Hulu called The Artful Dodger that is like about a surgeon in like those times. And like how it was like more of like a theater production than like surgery.
Who's
like
watching
surgery
him?
was like people.
Do you have to like
there's,
sign
like,
release
just
forms
men-
for that? Like I'm
no,
going.
there were like stands,
This is
and then
making
you
me
put the person on the
anxious.
table, and then it's actually a really great show. You should watch it.
Okay.
But in the show, the two younger surgeons would flip a coin to see who would get to amputate, and then they would time each other. Oh, can you beat this record?
Oh my god!
I bet I can beat that record. Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah.
Gross.
But that's the thing that happened. That was early surgery.
I feel like we should talk about that during horrifying
crazy.
history.
I should.
Absolutely.
And like they would just die and they'd be okay with it.
Like, well, lost that one. Oh my god.
Yep. Oh well. Anyways, abandoned places.
Abandoned places. All right, so I'm so interested to figure out what you've been planning for weeks now.
Yeah, because I had my research completely done.
Completely done as of last night.
12:30.
We were gaming
In the
last
evening.
night, and she was like, "What topic are you doing tomorrow?" And I told her, and I was like, "Why? What are you doing?" She was like,
And I was like, no. I was like, what topic are you doing? Just, she's like, she said, I don't even remember it.
Yep.
I was like, okay, cool. So we're not doing the same thing. Mhm. She's like, oh, so what are you doing? I'm like, you'll know when I know.
You haven't done it yet?
It's like 9:00 at night. I had not done a single thing.
I feel like there's always one of each. Like there's one that like I know what I'm doing next week, and then there's one that like I'm gonna do it the day of or the day before. Like I don't know how you live that life, but I respect it because there's no way in hell I could have done that last night. Girl, if I don't have my research done by like Tuesday, I'm freaking out, or like Monday.
My story's 1,500 words.
Cool. All right, that's gonna be a short one today, guys. Buckle up. It'll be great. I mean, I feel like abandoned places are always kind of shorties. Okay.
Mine has a twist.
Ooh, mine kind of does too. Okay.
Crazy.
Okay.
You'll never guess my twist, though.
You won't guess mine either. Let's see. Who can we surprise better? Oh, this is exciting. Okay, I'm ready.
So,
I'm excited.
today I will be talking about the Tillamook Lighthouse.
Ooh, where is that?
Much to think about. It's in Oregon.
Okay.
Which to like think about, like lighthouses are like obsolete now.
Did you just say it's in Oregon?
Oregon, yeah.
The fuck is a lighthouse doing in Oregon?
It's on the coast.
Oregon? The state?
Oh my god, Jess, please pull up a map right now, please. Before I go insane, please pull up a map, please.
I thought I was in the middle of the country.
Oh my god, stop talking. Stop talking and look at a map, please.
What do you mean? Oh, I have
Oregon.
to zoom out a lot here. Oh, it's under Washington. I thought that was Nevada.
And above California.
I could-
Oh my god, Lord, stop talking. Stop talking, please.
I'm on the East Coast.
Oh my god. That doesn't mean anything. You should know where each state of your country is.
Okay, so
Okay.
obviously there's a lighthouse in Oregon because it is right beside the ocean, the
Pretend like you
Pacific
knew that.
Ocean.
Oh, did you know that, or did you have to look at that?
No,
too?
I knew that. Okay, I know we're on the
Okay.
Atlantic and they're on the Pacific. I at least knew that. I need more coffee or caffeine or something.
Do you also know that Alaska is not an island?
Fuck you.
No, I'm serious. Apparently, there's kids that just think
'cause
Alaska
they've
is
just
an
seen
island by
the-
Hawaii.
It shows that it's attached to a landmass on the. Well, I guess not on all of them. Oh, good God!
I'd imagine. Anyway, okay, we're off topic. Next chaotic chat. Nikki teaches Jess all the states.
I feel like that would be
their
really
state
fun.
capitals.
I call dibs on the East Coast.
All right, so a lighthouse, which
They're obsolete. Yeah.
they're obsolete,
Yeah.
which is like crazy to me.
Well, because you think about they have. Yeah, but everything has radar now. Like,
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
Mhm.
No more.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't be obsolete if like the world went dark. You know what I mean? Like if we lost, I guess no radar would still work. I don't know.
Who knows? Anyways, Resting atop a sea stack of basalt more than a mile off the banks of Oregon's north coast, the notorious Tillamook Rock Lighthouse, nicknamed Terrible Tilly, still stands today, battered and bruised, a testament to her storied past.
Ooh, okay.
Lighthouse. The most expensive lighthouse built at the time and operated from 1881 to 1957 was nicknamed Terrible Tilly for its ferocious storms and the difficulties facing lighthouse keepers stationed there.
Oh.
So we're going to dive into the history.
Okay.
In 1878, Congress appropriated $50,000 for a first-class lighthouse to facilitate navigation on the North Oregon coast, particularly the approaches to the treacherous Columbia River bar. From the looks of it, it's a very rocky area, like a lot of stuff coming out of the water.
Interesting. Okay.
So the lighthouse was originally slated for Tillamook Head, located between Seaside and Cannon Beach, but officials determined that the south-facing landform would not provide good visibilities for mariners seeking the bar. Should have got a map. Let me grab a map real quick.
That'd have been great at the beginning of this. Could have prevented some confusion. That's all I'm saying.
It's not my job to know if you know where states are or not. An isolated storm-battered basaltic island, less than an acre in size, Tillamook Rock rises nearly 100 feet from the sea, 1.2 miles due west from Tillamook Head, and 20 miles south of the mouth of the Columbia River.
Okay.
Building a lighthouse on Tillamook Rock was perilous.
Like, extremely difficult.
Yes, that's what that word means.
I just wanted to clarify just in case other people didn't know.
Thank you.
Yep.
The first person hired to undertake a survey, 38-year-old master mason and lighthouse builder John R. Travas.
Okay.
Trevavas of Portland missed his footing on the eastern face of the rock, and surging waters swept him into the sea.
Ooh.
His body would never be recovered.
Uh-oh.
The local craftsmen were reluctant to work on the rock, especially after his death, and construction foreman Charles A. Ballantyne hired 8 skilled quarrymen from outside the area, and they had to stay elsewhere till construction started to keep the locals from scaring them away.
Okay.
The first 4 laborers were put on the rock on October 21st, 1879, and the remaining 5 members of the crew followed 5 days later. Constructing Tilly was grueling work. Just accessing the rock was dangerous, not to mention the stormy weather wreaking havoc on the crew, their supplies, and their morale. The first 10 days found the crew totally exposed to the elements. Barren of caves, overhangs, or ledges, the rock could not even provide minimal shelter.
Wow. What in all of these things, when were they not like, this doesn't seem like it's a good idea?
Oh, maybe we shouldn't put a lighthouse out here.
Like, we can't fucking build it. Why? Maybe we shouldn't do this. Like, why wouldn't that be a thing?
A shallow niche was excavated in the northeast side of the rock, and in it was placed a strongly built timber shanty that was securely bolted to the rock and covered in canvas. So they finally made themselves a little shelter.
Okay.
With shelter in place, the men leveled the site for a derrick and then commenced chipping, chiseling, and blasting away the upper 30 feet of the rock to create a site for the lighthouse at a height of 90 feet above the sea.
Okay.
In January of 1880, 4 months into construction, a perilous storm sent huge waves peppered with loosened rocks crashing over the worksite, sweeping away the crew's tools, water tank, and provisions.
Okay, there's warning sign number what?
The lighthouse tender was finally able to cross the Columbia River bar and approach the rock 16 days after the storm began with new supplies. By May 31st, 1880, 224 days into construction, the hump of the rock had been leveled, allowing construction of the lighthouse to begin, and the cornerstone of the lighthouse to be laid on June 22nd.
Okay.
In early January 1881, right before the lighthouse was completed, the barge Lupatia was sailing in thick fog and high winds when the ship's captain noticed that they were too close to shore. Wheeler, the official in charge of the lighthouse construction, heard the voices of the panicked crew and immediately ordered his men to place lanterns in the tower and light a bonfire to signal that they were approximately 600 feet from the rock.
Jeez.
The ship appeared to have been able to turn itself toward returning to sea. However, it quickly disappeared into the fog and Wheeler was not able to hear the crew. The next day, the bodies of all 16 crew members were found washed up on shore of Tillamook Head. The only survivor of the wreck was the crew's dog.
Oh, well, at least the puppy survived, but that's awful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Construction took over 200 days. The lighthouse consists of a one-story stone dwelling. A 16-foot square tower rising from the center of the dwelling supports the lantern room, which housed a first-order Fresnel lens equipped with 24 flash panels. The light had a focal plane of 133 feet above the sea and a signature of a white flash every 5 seconds.
Interesting. Okay.
2 rooms for the keepers were located on both the north and south sides of the dwelling, while storerooms and a kitchen occupied the angles. Tillamook Light began operations on January 21st, 1881. The lighthouse ultimately cost nearly $125,000. After its initial appropriation of $50,000, Congress was forced to provide another $50,000 in 1880 and $25,000 in 1881 to cover the cost. Tillamook's rock construction cost nearly $3 million in 2016 dollars. So
okay,
it cost $125,000 in that time. In 2016, that would have been nearly $3 million.
Jesus. Okay.
So very expensive.
Yeah. I feel like they were just fighting it the whole time too. Like,
during the spring following the completion of the lighthouse, a brick engine and supply house was built on the northeast slope of the rock, along with a landing wharf and an iron stairway linking the wharf with the keeper's dwelling. A tramway was also laid for raising supplies from the wharf to the supply house and to the fog signal room. So that's what you can see in these pictures a little bit better. You can see the small housing.
oh, yeah.
This is how people and supplies were loaded onto the rock after that was in.
That's what I was thinking. Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Either a basket was used to carry up supplies and people's through like a
pulley system,
a crane system, or what one of the people who worked there called them britches buoy, which is basically a buoy that had like shorts sewn into it. So you put the shorts and the buoy on and you get hoisted up.
That's terrifying.
And that's how they got. That's how they went from a boat to the rock.
I was wondering because I didn't see like any dock or anything. That's so crazy.
Right. Duty at Tillamook Rock meant isolation, punishing storms, and a hazardous environment. Supplies were often delayed for days or even weeks, and communication was possible only through a telegraph via an underwater cable.
Oh my God.
The first head keeper at Tillamook Rock, Albert Roeder, lasted only 4 months. But the following keepers would stay on for a number of years. It would be a head keeper and 4 assistants were typically assigned to the rock. The men's families, if they had them, lived ashore. The keeper spent 3 months on and 2 weeks off, with 4 keepers away, always on the rock. After conditions proved extremely harsh on both the physical and mental stability of the keepers, the rotation was changed to 42 days on and 21 days off.
I can imagine. Yeah, you need a little less, a little more rotation there, because Lord.
Monstrous storms often battered the rock, contributing to the lighthouse's name, Terrible Tilly. A storm in December 1886 swept away 3 wooden water tanks near the lighthouse, and water falling on the roof with the sound of 100 hammers, crushing in large sections and loosened plaster in the dwelling. A year later, a storm broke in 2 panes of the 5/8 of an inch thick glass and flooded the lantern room. so 5/8 of an inch of thick glass and flooded the lantern room. During a gale in October 1934, winds of over 100 miles an hour pounded the coast. Waves surged over the tower, shattering the Fresnel lens, and the battered lighthouse became a shambles of ruined equipment and flooded room as boulders crashed into the building. The telegraph cable was severed and all of the landing gear was carried away. Keepers finally made contact with the mainland using a code-sending transmitter cobbled together of spare parts by Keeper Henry Jenkins. So like he just took a bunch of parts and was somehow able to make a radio to like signal for help.
Holy hell.
I think that was their worst storm. I have a picture of a wave crashing on the building.
Oh jeez.
So like waves would just go over the building.
Wow.
Surprisingly, the only death of a keeper at the lighthouse occurred on August 2nd, 1911, when second assistant keeper Thomas Jones was painting the derrick and fell 35 feet onto rocks, sustaining terrible injuries. He did hang on for a period of time, but eventually did pass away.
It wasn't even like a storm that took him. It was him painting and falling. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I watched a video of someone interviewing, like I said, like a guy who had worked there. It was funny because he was like, I just graduated like the Coast Guard and they sent me to this little rock in the middle of the ocean.
Oh no.
And that was like his first duty assignment. And then from there he had to go again to like the Arctic. He was like not happy about it. But anyways, he was saying when those things happened, the rock just shook. And like the guy's like, did you feel like you were gonna fall in the water or something? And he's like, no, you knew like it was a rock. It wasn't going anywhere. It just made you realize that a rock was shaking.
That's insane.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
So Terrible Tilly shone her light for 77 years before being replaced by a red whistle buoy anchored 1 mile seaward of the rock. On September 1st, 1957, Keeper Alec, who had served 20 years at the station, turned off the light and penned the following final entry in the logbook, which today is kept in the archives at the Columbia River Maritime Museum in Oregon. So this is what he wrote. Farewell, Tillamook Rock Light Station. An era has ended. With this final entry, and not without sentiment, I return thee to the elements. You, one of the most notorious and yet fascinating of the sea-swept sentinels in the world, long the friend of the tempest-tossed mariner. Through howling gale, thick fog, and driving rain, your beacon has been a star of hope, and your foghorn a voice of encouragement. May the elements of nature be kind to you. For 77 years, you have beamed your light across desolate acres of ocean. Keepers have come and gone, men lived and died, but you were faithful to the end. May your sunset years be good years. Your purpose is now only a symbol, but the lives you have saved and the service you have rendered are worthy of the highest respect. A protector of life and property to all, may old-timers, newcomers, and travelers along the way pause from the shore in memory of your humanitarian role.
That's really cool.
Right? I was like, I have to keep that in.
No, you do.
Like,
absolutely. That is really cool.
So during the next 20 years, the lighthouse changed ownership several times. It ultimately fell into the hands of Mimi Morset and Kathy Riley, and under their direction, their structure was gutted and converted into, can you guess?
No, but I'm guessing this is the twist.
This is the twist.
I have no idea.
Into the Eternity at Sea Columbarium, otherwise known as a repository for ashes of the dead.
Oh no. Oh, wait, so what do? Do you like put them in there?
It is said that 30 urns were placed in the lighthouse.
Oh, it's haunted AF then. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Right?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's really cool. Can you imagine being like, having a family member in there? It's kind of cool. Oh, that's crazy looking.
Right. So they placed 30 urns in the lighthouse. But then they lost their license to operate as a columbarium in 1999 when they were late with their renewal.
Come on,
In
guys.
2005, an application for a new license was rejected because they did not keep accurate records of the people they placed there.
What do you mean? You had one job.
And because the urns weren't properly stored. They basically just sat them on boards and concrete blocks. Just dropped them off in there. It was like, see ya.
Oh, good God. What?
Not to mention that 2 urns were reportedly stolen by vandals in 1991.
Who the fuck is stealing an urn?
I don't know.
We have issues.
First of all, props to the vandals for actually getting on the rock.
Absolutely.
dying.
100%. Like, how did that happen?
But like crazy.
Wild.
Because the only way to access it now is by helicopter. And even then it's sketchy because of the wildlife.
I mean, the wildlife.
Still privately owned, Tillamook Rock is part of the Oregon Islands National Wildlife Refuge, and the lighthouse is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. And it has become a place where seabird and sea lions once again thrive.
Okay.
If you're wondering what all those dots are, those are all sea lions.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right?
Good for them.
Like, you can land there by helicopter, but only if a sea lion isn't like, nah, bitch, I'm not moving.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, that's so
come
cool,
back
though.
another day.
Okay.
And that's Tillamook. That's Terrible Tilly.
Very
That's the lighthouse
cool.
that's
Abandoned.
abandoned, turned back to nature for sure. Side note: Terrible Tilly is currently for sale.
Let's get
And
it.
the asking price is $6.5 million.
For that? What do you mean? What? Who's gonna buy that for $6.4 million? A villain. That's who. That'd be a great like
Villain
insurance.
layer.
Yeah, to like a villain layer for sure. That is really cool.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know about the whole urn thing until I got to the end of my research. I was like,
Oh,
wait,
wait, what? Wait.
Wait, what? No way. Poor Terrible Tilly just wanted to return to nature.
I know. I mean, nature was basically telling them the whole time, this is what you should be doing. I don't know why you're still fighting this.
I don't know why you're still trying to build the lighthouse here.
It's not meant to be. All right. Are you ready for mine?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of
Totally.
the Prora complex?
Prora? I don't think so.
I'm so excited. Okay. The Prora lies on an extensive bay between, I'm going to mispronounce all of these guys. I'm just letting you know now. Sorry. The Sassnitch and the Binns regions, known as the Prora White, on the narrow heath. It's also called the Prora. That's a lot of information. Which separates
Okay.
the lagoon of the Kleiner Jasmunder Bodden from the Baltic Sea.
Okay, so what country is this one?
So it's very northern Germany.
Okay.
The buildings, because it is a complex, the buildings extended over a length of 4.5 kilometers, which is 2.8 miles, and are roughly 150 meters or 160 yards from the beach.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh.
Do you know it now?
Oh, I might.
Okay. The coast offers a long, flat sand beach, which stretches from Beans to the ferry port. This beach was thus an ideal location for the establishment of a seaside resort. You could say that Prora was one of the first modern holiday resorts.
That looks crazy.
Repeated concrete blocks in rows, each with the view of the sea, connected to what would be nightclubs, restaurants, all 2 decades before the coasts of Spain and Greece were developed to their own equivalents. So literally was 2 decades ahead of its time.
Ahead of its time. Yeah.
The architecture had none of the colorful style of the Weimar Republic, but rather an arresting lack of sentiment or detail.
Very like crisp and clean and
Yeah. that
yeah,
was the
very
back
like
of it.
sharp
Mhm.
edges.
Now, the leisure centers and cafes are decorated with classical columns, and the unbuilt festival hall would have pushed Prora a little closer to Poundbury, which is another leisure hotel sort of thing. But this is a machine aesthetic, and it's very chilling, as you can see. As beautiful as the building and location is, this is the plot twist. This was actually originally commissioned by Hitler.
Yeah.
as a massive 4.5-kilometer long beach holiday resort complex for German workers under a program called Strength Through Joy. The original plans called for a festival hall and the rooms located in 8 450-meter long blocks to accommodate 20,000 guests, each with a room facing the sea. So
Crazy.
So
Oh wait,
freaking
so
crazy.
the blocks outward, like behind it, were like the general areas?
Like general areas. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So crazy.
Wasn't this like a? I'll let you continue the story.
Yes, probably. Okay, so the Strength Through Joy program was designed to attract all people from the working class to the Nazi Party by offering numerous cultural events and mass tourism at affordable prices. They also presented it as an opportunity for the inclusion. So basically, to kind of ease people into the Nazi ideology through consistent indoctrination by propaganda while you were there. So founded in November 1933, 400,000 people took the Strength Through Joy package tours, which the number rose to 1.7 million in 1937, not to mention the 7 million people who availed themselves of weekend excursions and the 1.6 million who participated in organized hikes around it. So you could say it was effective.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Robert Ley, who was the head of German Labor Front, of which Strength Through Joy was a subsidiary of it, envisioned Prora as a parallel to the Buntlands, which were British holiday camps designed to provide affordable holidays for the average worker. So again, Prora was designed to house upwards to 20,000 holiday makers under the idea that every worker deserved a holiday at the beach for an affordable price. Designed by Clemens Klotz, who won the design competition overseen by Adolf Hitler's chief architect, Albert Speer. All rooms were planned to overlook the sea, while corridors and sanitations are located in the landward side. So each room was 16 foot by 8.2 feet, was said to have 2 beds, a wardrobe, and a sink. Now, there were communal toilets, showers, and bathrooms on each floor. So the bathrooms, the sanitary was on the back side, and the frontwards were the room.
Interesting.
Also not a huge room. 16 by 8 is not a big room, but
no,
it's affordable. Hitler's plans for Prora were much more ambitious. He wanted a gigantic sea resort, the quote, most mighty and large one to have ever existed, and that would hold over 20,000 beds, which was the plan. In the middle, a huge building was to be erected, which would be a grand hall for speeches and concerts.
Oh, Lord.
At the same time, Hitler wanted the complex to have the ability to be converted to a military hospital in case of a war.
Wonder why he thought of that.
Hitler insisted that the plans of a giant indoor arena by architect Erich Zolpolitz were to be included. So he wanted that huge arena for really important speeches. And this festival hall was intended to be able to accommodate all 20,000 guests at the same time. So a massive.
Cheapers.
His plans also included 2 wave swimming pools, a cinema, and a theater. And then a large dock for passenger ships was also planned. So construction. Construction began in 1936, and during the few years that the Prora was under construction, all major construction companies of the Reich and nearly 9,000 workers were involved in this project. So it is heavily influenced. Obviously, you would say it's literally built for Hitler. Crazy. By 1938, construction costs had reached 237.5 million rubles, which is equivalent to 1.06 billion euros in 2009. So,
cheaper.
I mean, and euros are pretty similar to dollars. Like the conversion rate's pretty similar.
They're like $1.50 or something off or something like that.
So, I mean, that's $1.6 billion. Yeah. But with the onset of World War II, in 1939, a building on the Prora stopped and the construction workers transferred to the weapons plant. They didn't get it finished in time, really. The 8 housing blocks and the theater and cinema remained empty shells. The swimming pools and festival hall never materialized. If the complex had been completed on schedule, it would have been the largest holiday resort in the world. So you might have said he bit off a little more they could chew and then started World War II and then was like, eh.
So wait, no one actually went here?
No, so the people stayed, but he wanted to build like the middle part of it. So 8 of the housing blocks were never finished. The theater and then the cinema were never finished.
Oh, okay.
So there were still housing blocks created. I mean, obviously you could see the housing blocks were created.
Oh.
And then this was another part they had stopped like building. Like that was a block that they weren't able to finish. During World War II, an Allied bombing campaign, many people from Hamburg took refuge in one of the housing blocks, and later refugees from the east of Germany were also housed there as well. By the end of the war, these buildings housed female auxiliary personnel for the Luftwaffe. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know that Hitler died. So it didn't get finished. Maybe. Okay, well, this didn't get finished. This didn't get finished.
Could have lived out the rest of his life in Argentina.
I mean, definitely should be on our conspiracy talk, but he wasn't around to finish this, so it didn't get finished. And Germany lost. They got their asses kicked, so they didn't really have money to finish the largest.
Was it the first World War where Germany was kicking everyone's asses?
I think so.
Or the second one?
I mean, Germany was kicking ass in the second one until we joined, and then they were like...
One of them, they had way better tanks than we did. Like, our tanks were getting shredded, and their tanks were like Ninja Turtles.
I feel like their tanks are always better.
That's true.
They just had better engineering. Anyway, and then in the Cold War in 1945, the Soviet army actually took control of the region and established a military base at Prora.
That's crazy.
Yep. So the Soviets Army 2nd Artillery Brigade occupied Block 5 of Prora from 1945 to 1955. So for 10 years, this was under control of the Soviet Army. The Soviet military then stripped all usable materials from the building. In the late 1940s, 2 of the housing blocks, one at the north and one at the south, were demolished, and the remains were mostly removed.
Okay.
In the late 1950s, the East German military rebuilt several of the buildings. Since the buildings have been stripped to bare brick in the late 1940s, most of the exterior and interior finish that can now be seen was done under the East German control as a rebuild. So,
they tried rebuilding it?
Well, they tried like fixing what basically the Soviet army had done.
Okay.
To just completely demolish it. And if you look at like how long that hallway is, like it's crazy.
It's never ending.
No, it's so long. After the formation of the German Democratic Republics, or GDRs, National People's Army, what a mouthful, in 1956, the buildings became restricted military housing for several East German Army units. The most prominent were the Elite 40. Now, the 40th Parachute Battalion was housed in Block 5 from 1960 to 1982. Block 4 on the north side was used for urban combat training by the Parachute Battalion and others. Large sections remain as ruins to this day.
Wow.
Now, WIS 2.
Oh boy.
Fast forward to 2017, and the Prora is now a massive real estate development.
What?
While some parts are in ruins, obviously still, others have begun to rehabilitate to include a hotel, holiday apartments, a museum, and a youth hostel.
Youth hostel. Okay.
Instead of treating the Prora as a whole, the state sold it off piece by piece. A skeptical local government official said that they had not too much influence and not too expensive lawyers. So basically, they didn't have the money to fight off it being sold. As a result, every block has a different investor. Ironically, investors are attracted by the subsidies the building is given as a heritage monument.
Crazy.
Wild. Like, I don't think I'd ever be able to stay there. Like,
I love how they tried to garden the freaking sand area, but like, wow.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, a huge building complex in eastern Germany that is the largest relic of Nazi architecture anywhere. It was like literally one of the only buildings that the Nazis created, like that is still erect. So it was intended to be a colossal seaside resort for 20,000 holidaymakers, devised as a part of a plan that is literally strength through joy, which was a Nazi-driven indoctrination.
Right.
The vast complex was never quite finished due to the outbreak of World War II. After the war, the Soviet military took it over, and then the GDRs. Only since the 1990s has the site finally became partially accessible to the general public. Today, a number of exhibitions plot the history of the place, and guided tours of parts of the complex are also offered, as well as they are starting to sell it off and rebuild it, because
why not?
Damn, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if that's something that should be, I feel like that's something that should be demolished, but that's just me.
A place where they were trying to recruit more Nazis.
I just gotta think that's gotta have some bad juju. Some of the people who I went and visited said that like there are certain parts of it where you could still see like Nazi symbols and shit.
That's
like,
crazy.
Freaking wild. Anyway, so that is the story of the Prora complex. Yeah, I had no idea that existed. That's not fun, but fun. What do you guys think?
Crazy.
Do you guys think that people should be rebuilding on it, or
do you think it should be revamped or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not great what's happening. So
I mean, turn something bad into something good.
And I think that's what Germany is trying to do. Like, obviously, okay, so that's the thing. Like, do you embrace the fact that was your history and then try to make it something better? Or should it just be like knocked down? I don't know. I do not know. Anywho. All right, you amazing peoples. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, don't forget to follow us, leave a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, hi, like and subscribe. 64 subscribers. That's so exciting.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for being here and subscribing, guys. We appreciate you. It makes us feel good knowing there's people watching.
There have been technical difficulties, but we should be on the right track now.
Yeah, no, we're getting ahead. We're blazing through. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with our username at TTATA Podcast. In the bio of all of our social media is our link tree, which has our email. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, topic ideas, suggestions, let us know. Yeah. We're always open to topic ideas.
100%. Actually, we really do encourage them, truly. Next week, we're going to be covering natural disasters or maritime disasters. So I'm probably going to do a tornado. Just letting you guys know. That's
oh, Lord.
We're back on that. Well, I did a ship for the Unsolved Mysteries. So I gotta switch it up a little bit. And we have the tri-state outbreak to cover. So we may be doing another outbreak. Be there, be square. We'll see. And with that, we'll leave you with this inspirational quote.
If you believe it'll work out, you'll see opportunities. If you don't believe it'll work out, you'll see obstacles. By Wayne Dyer.
Nice. Yep. No, that is really true. Like, I think if you're looking at a challenge and you only see the difficulties, you're going to be so overwhelmed you're not going to even want to try. So, speaking from experience, try to take it on one time and you got it. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Until next time.
Bye.